to learn how to. There we go. Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to Element 19 with Patrick and Sherrie Nalty. They are our hosts today. They're going to, as clients, experientially guide you through how their habit of sleep, their awareness of this has really helped them with longevity and showing up for them. And there's going to be some nuggets in it for you as well. So if you're following along, that's where they will be in the life book. They can provide you the page numbers, all that good stuff. But I do want to share with you that Patrick and Sherrie are actually mine and Tim's clients. So we met them. We had helped some other pastors to get healthy. And through recognition of the Naltys seeing the Thompsons get healthy, they reached out to us. I did not know them prior to that. They were a referral. And we have developed a friendship and really a closeness in the mission. And it was beautiful. We first got started with Sherrie, her health and her healing. When she came to me, she had a great deal of pain and suffering and confusion about health and all of those things. And she was so ready to heal her body. She was as ready as I've ever seen. Ready level 10. Like she basically, you guys, she would have eaten dirt every 2.5 hours. And I say that because our readiness can increase and we can do work in the life book to really awaken that. But we have to have that level of readiness to heal that grit. And so we started with Sherrie. Her body was miraculously healing as soon as day 5. It was radical. And Patrick was noticing, and he was obviously taken aback by watching his wife literally start to heal in front of his eyes 5 days in. And so he wanted to optimize and get healthy. And my husband, Tim, started working with Patrick. And I'm not going to steal all their thunder about their story, but I just wanted to set it up that sharing health is powerful. They noticed a healing, they came in, and now because these two have said yes to health and well-being, they have helped hundreds upon hundreds of people to get healthy, break generational curses, have a blueprint for health. And now they're going to share with you today about what they're learning. And I just love that about our mission. And I really wanted to highlight that today. So, all right, guys, take it away. I think I've let everybody in the room, killed enough time. And I'm going to mute myself.
Good morning, everyone. And happy Saturday. And to all the mothers there, happy, blessed Mother's Day to you. And Rachel, thank you so much for saying yes, you and Tim, because had you not said yes, Pastor Rod and his wife would not have said yes, and we definitely would not have said yes. And I just wanted to begin by congratulating Dawn. Did a powerful job on last Saturday. So we're just piggybacking and just moving it forward. And I did want to say, of these systems that we coach through, I hope you can see my little Rubik's Cube, correct? And healthy sleep is so vital in our systems, you know, that yes, I did come in and I did have this miraculous transformation, but can I share with you that healthy sleep is so vital to the systems of habits of health? If anyone agrees with that, can you just nod at me and say, yes, Sherrie? And what I love about our system is that, here's the situation here, is that we on our own, we believe, I mean, how many besides me believe that we know how to sleep and we know these systems, but who would admit along with me that until I allowed the 10th board certified in critical care, Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, and when I began to, and I started to become open and curious and coachable right at the top, because I realized what I was doing within myself was not working and I was desperate. So with that said, I wanted to just draw your attention to element 19 in the life book, page 383, and then I'm going to pass the baton to Patrick. But 382, excuse me, this is what Dr. A says. As a key physiological drive, the urge to sleep, much like hunger and thirst, plays an essential role in creating health and well-being. We are designed to live a third of our life in a state of unconsciousness. And yet modern life has reduced sleep for most into a luxury, which fits into the cracks of our overcomplicated lives. Dr. A says it all the time, and we are so blessed that we have gotten to meet him. He didn't just write this book and say, hey, this is my New York Times bestseller, Habit of Health. I'm just going to throw this out there and you guys go ahead and buy it and I get the residual. But I'm excited because he's a coach just like us. This man has poured his life into the Habit of Health book, and then the life book. Don't laugh, guys. Mine don't have a page because I live in it, okay? So when we allow ourselves to be open and coachable and really visit this role of sleep, it says in page 383 life book, the role of sleep has an important role in optimizing many of our systems. Here are the 6 systems, right? From the inner workings of our immune system to proper hormonal balance and to our emotional and mental health to learning and memory and even clearing toxins from our brains, as Dawn so beautifully shared with us last week. And can I tell you that Dr. A says, we cannot control this chaotic world that we live in. There's some things that are out of our control, guys. But what we can control, if we are open, coachable, and curious, then we become the dominant force in our lives. And I love that this system is behavioral and emotional. He says emotional mismanagement is the #1 cause of sickness and disease. Emotional mismanagement, guys. So lack of sleep for me was messing with my immune system. And I came in with autoimmune and all of that. No wonder I was 55 pounds overweight. No wonder I had sleep apnea. I was in school, and some of you have schedules. I know Brian is a lineman, and I know Tim is a firefighter. So our first responders, we have some of them on the link here this morning. And some things you can't control, your schedule. So while Patrick is going to break and talk about the systems, and if we acknowledge, am I a lark? Am I an owl? Identify that and then move in ways in which you become the dominant force. This is us taking control of things we can control, right? So on to my better half.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And then thank you, Rachel, for we'll pay you later for the intro. I'm just kidding. No, but thank you so much. Good morning. One of the things I've learned is that when you get rest, you show gratitude. You wake up excited. You're like, man, who am I going to meet today? Whose life can I impact today? Put a 1 in the chat if you are a lark, and a 2 in the chat if you're an owl. I just want to know who I'm talking to. If you're an owl, put a 1 in the chat. If you're all right, so I see some numbers coming up. All right, good. So so it's important for us to understand where we operate. Okay, it's so important. And on Dr. A says on page, let's go to page 400 in our life book, right? Element 19, and again, Dawn, bumper job. Yes. She's a good setup lady. Yeah. And so in page 400, one of the things that Dr. A says is this. He says, on a perfect day, right? And we can find this in the first paragraph in the second sentence. He says, on a perfect day, it would be nice for us to get 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep on a perfect day, right? A lot of us woke up this morning, and if you're not on your phone, I'd like to see, hold your phone up right now, and I'd like to see where your phone is charged. Is your phone empty right now, or is your phone almost dying? If your phone is full, right, that means you plugged it in last night, and this morning when you woke up, it was charged and it was ready to go, and it's going to fulfill the requirements that you had for the day that you're going to ask this device to do, right? Here's the thing, though. There are over 80+ millions of people that are still right now in bed trying to make up sleep from not sleeping last week. they didn't get enough rest. 80 million people do not get enough quality sleep in the United States. Think about that for a second. Now, these are folks that you're driving beside in the car. These are people that fly in your airplanes that you're going on trips on and sailing boats. And so Dawn mentioned last week that some of the most chaotic incidences that happened in our world happened because, and Dr. A listed them in the book, Chernobyl, the spacecraft explosion because of lack of sleep. So think about that for a second, right? There are people right now that are not with us because someone slept while they were driving, right? Lack of sleep is worse than DUIs, because as a DUI, you're driving while you're intoxicated. Sleeping, however, you fall asleep, and then whatever happens, you don't even know what happened. So think about that for a second. And so by installing rituals of sleep, and again, those of us that own our own business, that are investors in our business, have the opportunity to set our rituals of sleep. If you are not a business owner, someone else sets that for you. That means you're living off of someone else's schedule. I need you to be at work at this time. I need you to go to lunch at this time. I need you to get off at this time. And you're in traffic for 2 hours to work and 2 hours back. Think about how chaotic that looks like. And for me, I just gave that up. I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I retired from that because I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't healthy. I wasn't showing up my best. When I got home, I was just lethargic. So by installing sleep rituals, we create habits of health, which is one of the habits in the macro habits that we coach through, right? Healthy sleep. So I'd love for somebody to jump off and just share with me for a minute. What does sleep really mean for you? I mean, when you talk about sleep, is it just you go to bed and you wake up in the morning? But what does sleep really mean for you? And I'm opening this up to anybody that wants to jump on. How important is sleep for you on a scale from 1 to 10? I'm going to put you on a scale. On a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being sleep is not that important, and 10, sleep is very important. I see
Allan has his
got a
hand up.
hand up.
And I wanted to share before Allan come in, thank God that we said yes to being transformational coaches, so no one has to tell him what time he has to be in that traffic or not. Go ahead, Allan.
Yeah, no. So this is one of my weak points, right? Because I'm one of those guys that I feel like that list is never ending. But if I can be awake and get after it, I should be. But I've also noticed that down the line, my sleep and my habits involving my nighttime routine has a direct involvement on my health and what I'm trying to create for myself, and especially nighttime routines. If I don't have something set in place, I'm getting in bed, we'll make the excuse, oh, I'm just not tired yet. Let me turn on this show. That'll help me get tired. I'll notice I'll sit there, and before you know it, it's you're tired, but then now it's, well, I know I got that popcorn sitting in the pantry. Let me throw a bag of popcorn in there, and then popcorn can lead to something else, and then before you know it, you're totally off track. You've lost all these habits that you worked so hard to install. So I'm still working on personally correlating the importance of healthy sleep to the rest of my goals, right? Which I've been coaching now over a year. I love what we do. We've helped hundreds of clients and coaches alike. And I just want to let you know the journey never ends in a good way, right? We're still working. That's a missing piece for me personally. So yeah, I think it's huge. It's very, very important. It also helps your morning routine, and they all intertwine, right? We get our body healthy, our mind healthy, our finances healthy. But if our sleep's out of whack, where is that going to cause a flat tire?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's phenomenal. So here's one of the things too that sleep does. It affects your attitude, right? You grumpy, you wake up in the morning and you're like, good morning. And people are like, what's so good about the morning, right? Anybody heard that before? You know, you wake up in the morning, you're supposed to have gotten some rest, you're supposed to be charged, and you're like, you know, people are like, what's so good about the morning? That's because we didn't get enough rest, right? So I saw Eric. Where's
Eric's
Eric?
hand
Eric
is
was up. We miss Eric. I was just trying to
Hey,
plug
good
in.
morning, guys. How are you?
Good, good.
Same here. Look at my cup, guys. Right? I hate mornings, right? And it's not that I hate them. And you said on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is important, but do I make it important? No, because we do that busy thing and there's always so many things going on. You know, I'm in a different state and my grandkids showed up yesterday and I haven't been around them in a while. So I'm making that important right now. So yes, we do know, and you're 100% the mood, our actions, the way we treat others, the way we respond to others. Man, it's so bad when we don't get that sleep. We try 8 hours, full transparency here. Guys, I don't get 8 hours of sleep. I feel at 50 years old because thank goodness to Optavia, man, I don't need it, right? But we do up here. We really do. And I do notice that when I don't get the sleep, I'm cranky. And my wife, Kristen, says the same thing. You're miserable. My kids, you're cranky. Grandpa, it's just crazy, right? So I am working on that. But you did mention something, and this is what I want to share with you guys. You talked about driving and tired, right? Well, I heard something on the news out here the other day that they did a poll with airline pilots, right? 31% of airline pilots admitted to falling asleep during a flight.
Wow.
Because of autopilot. 27% also admitted that when they woke up, the co-pilot was also sleeping. So think about this, guys. Your sleep doesn't impact you alone. It impacts everybody around you. And just think about how powerful and huge that is. So guys, prioritize. You got to sleep. Force yourself. I don't care what you got to do. Make it happen.
Sweet. Love it. Thanks, Eric. That was awesome, man. You know, it affects not only us. What we do isn't just about us. It's just not about us, you know. And by instilling these rituals, Dr. A says, he said, I could guarantee increased energy. Anybody want increased energy? I don't know about you. I need energy, right? We need energy, right? Oh, yeah, I'm not saying anything, right? And it leads to us being in better shape. You ever wake up in the morning like, hey, I'm gonna work out in the morning, but you just didn't get enough sleep, and you're like, oh man, you know, I'll catch it later. And later never comes. Later never comes. And so so life has a way of throwing the monkey wrench is what we like to call it in our lives, right? So the best habits of health sometimes get disrupted by life, right? And he says that in I think it's the third paragraph down. He says, unfortunately, it does not prevent you from occasionally having a bad night's sleep, right? So a lot of people have bad nights sleep because, again, things happen. Maybe you had to take your child to urgent care. Maybe, you know, whatever, your schedule is off, and it just throws everything. And so you could have a desire to be on the mountaintop of sleep that day, and you got all the sleep, but your day just got disrupted by a whole bunch of other things that you weren't prepared for. And so you have to be able to deal with that and recognize, wow, it's because I didn't get enough sleep, or because I got enough sleep, I was able to better deal with the situation or the circumstance. So sometimes we're dealing with people, and here's where grace comes in. You're dealing and you're talking to people and they're like really abrasive, and you're like, wow, what's going on with Johnny? Or what's going on with Mary? I just called to say hi. Or you call your mom or your sister and they're going off, OFF. And you're like, what happened? You know, and it's because they probably didn't get enough rest. They didn't sleep well last night. Their week was just chaotic. You know, it's 12 o'clock and they're trying to pull the blanket over their head just to get some sleep. So again, you and I who have this information, you and I who are privy to this, that's why we're so tenacious. That's why we're so excited about sharing what we have with others. Again, we're not trying to get a blessing from anybody. We're trying to get a blessing to people. And people really don't really get that. Rachel, I see your hand.
Yes, I just wanted to share that now that I've had the privilege of really guiding people for the last 5 years, I do see a significant connection with those that have a little bit more stability in their transformation, with those that regard sleep as a priority. And so Dr. A explains it on page 401 that it can impede fat loss. And what's not in the books that I'll share with you that I just know from some other training that I've had that's separate of this is that nutrition exchange is done in REM sleep. Okay, that's where we actually exchange nutrients. And so when I remember reading that, I was like, man, I have to protect my sleep, because that cortisol spike of fat storing hormones of like not getting enough rest, you'll see as a client, you'll see in yourself the weeks where you regard sleep, you will have more significant results, not just scale, but non-scale. Because when your body is robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you have those adrenaline spikes and cortisol spikes, and you're just amped out because you're not getting your restorative sleep or your REM, your body is going to compensate. Your fat loss will slow down. It will. It's scientific. It's not the program plateauing, okay? It's the fact that one of the habits is off. I see it in myself. So I want to share that with you, that if you do choose to create a twilight routine, if you do work with your coach, this is why you have a free Optavia health coach, is for someone to say, hey, let's see if we can take some steps forward this week and be very intentional about getting to bed a half an hour early. And then next week we'll go another 10 minutes. And next week we'll go another 10 minutes until we could work ourselves an hour early. And then we'll work on, you know, and it's micro habits, guys. It's the theme of our program is consciousness around it. It's not perfection. So if this hasn't been a goal for you, I just wanted to encourage you experientially to protect this. It's not just some cool chapter in a book. It really has legs. And so, you know, I just wanted to share that. I hope that was helpful.
Yes, thank you. Sweet.
And thank you for sharing that, Rachel. And I just wanted to share something as well that Dr. A says on page 402 of our life book, the bottom. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, so 402, when he talks about power naps, okay, this is vital. Power naps are good. So when our power naps, we get that a few minutes in, about 6 minutes, that's great to keep us going. So when we identify, okay, what's missing here? So this is behavioral and emotional. And as we are, those of us that are working towards optimization, if you're saying, man, I'm working on the systems and I'm measuring my food and I'm fueling every 2.5 to 3 hours, but I just can't get to my goal weight yet, then as Rachel says, healthy sleep impedes progress. And now because we are unhealthy. Thank you, baby. So as we are retraining our brain, because can I share honestly, before I said yes to Optavia, I was in seminary. I was burning the oil at both ends, guys. And I remember my daughter said to me, Mom, I know it's important for you to maintain a 4.0 GPA, but at what expense? Guys, I had to sit with that. So now as I begin Optavia, the healthy mind, I was like, ooh, why is it that I have to be perfect and have that 4.0? And now I'm getting to know information about sleep and why it's vital. Why do I find myself going back to what I used to do as I'm on this health journey? I had to be willing to identify this is not good for where I'm trying to go. And I love how Dr. A says in our life book that sickness and disease is inconvenient. So I had to now start retraining my brain to say, just because I used to sleep, you know, burn the candle all night, that's not beneficial to my health. So being open to say, you know what, I'm going to allow him to train me here, and being willing to say, this makes sense. So I just wanted to share that. Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay, I seen Jody's hands up.
Jody,
and then,
and I think, Jody, go ahead.
Jody.
Hi, good morning. Sorry. I'm experimenting with my new computer setup. I got a new monitor and stuff, so it's a little wonky, but I did want to mention that on my own journey, sleep has always been a problem for me. I was that kind of kid that the babysitter had to bribe to take a nap. And so I'm actually back into getting into better sleeping habits myself. And one thing that I have as a tip from Dr. A today to my own clients was don't let the weekends throw you off. He suggests that you keep your sleeping on the weekends the same as much as possible. If that means you leave a party a little early, leave a party a little early, guys. Like, your sleep is far more important, and getting that REM and getting into the, your fat burning mode is far more important than that extra half hour of listening to your uncle tell a war story or whatever it may be. So that's what I wanted to contribute today. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend, and happy Mother's Day to all mothers, both of 4 and 2-legged babies. Thanks, guys.
Hey, real quick, Nalty's in the chat, a few people are saying the volume went down. So just want to, if your volume is down by accident, can you see the Nalty's as well? Okay, good. They were saying I was stuck on and the volume was off. So I just want to make sure we're good there.
Are we good?
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now? Still can't hear me?
Can't hear us? Uh-oh. All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I got to, so that's the reason why I talk loud. Michelle Singleton.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
So I wanted to go ahead and share something that I've experienced since starting Plan. I used to be the type where I was not a morning person and I was not a day person. I was just not a person. I didn't like being awake. I really, really enjoyed my sleep. So I always had a healthy amount of sleep. But I've since realized, since beginning program, Tim had recommended to me to set a timer on my phone for bedtime. And so every single night at 10, it says go to sleep, kind of chime. And so I'm like, okay, it's time for me to go to sleep. And it does not matter where I am. By 10 o'clock, I am so dead dog tired. And so my husband knows, my kids know, yeah, if you guys want to talk to me, you guys have until 10:05. And that's it. As soon as I hit the pillow, I'm pretty much done. Like, there's no talking to me. There's no nothing. And so that's one thing that I've been able to implement. And knowing that we actually burn more of our fat while we're sleeping just gives me the incentive to make sure I have that sleep. So great example, we were at a party last Friday night, and you better believe I left at 9:50 because it was my bedtime. And so that's one thing that I've learned. And I'm like, you know what? It's just way too important. So now I'm like Eric. I do not love mornings. I'm good to wake up at 6 a.m. And that's exactly Eric. So that's a really hard thing for me, but I've become more of a little bit of a morning person, a little bit of an afternoon person, and a little bit of an evening person, where before I was just good to just skate by. So this plan has been, it's worked amazing wonders in my life. So I wanted to share how important that was for me. And yeah, I get at least 9 to 10 hours, on the weekends as well.
Sweet. Love it. Thank you so
Michelle.
much. Yeah, I'm like you. 10 o'clock, I'm out. Deuces. I'm not care who's here. I'm going to bed. But we're gonna give us about 5 more minutes, please. I think it's important for us to talk about the rhythm that we go into. Rachel touched on it before about REM. There are 90 minutes, and you have to be aware of this. This is going to change the trajectory of your sleep going forward. Where are you doing certain times? And so, like REM, there's a 90-minute period, that I want to have literally, where your body is in REM mode, and then it drops out of REM, and then it goes back into this funky whatever goes on in your body while you're sleeping, and it jumps back into REM again. Well, there's also a rhythm in your day, and it's important for you to know that. So, like Michelle was saying, she recognizes where her, I'm not good in the morning, but I'm good at days. You need to figure where you are, because at those times when you're operating as this on page 401 in the graph that Dr. A has there in the ultra-delirium cycle, he talks about where your body begins to, you may be trying to do hard things when you're in the dumps. No, try to do the things that are difficulty when you're at your highest level of energy.
Mhm.
So that you're not trying to go, your brain is going to be like, oh, your unhealthy brain is going to be like, well, you're tired, don't do that right now, you could catch it later. But those are important things to do. So again, as you begin to do that, and one of the things you say, the challenge now for us is to create that tracking system. And as you go through your Habits of Health book, and on page 402 or 403 in the life book, 406, he gives you examples of where or how you can begin to track your energy
Mhm.
so that you're operating at your optimum, right? He talks about taking those naps, right? The 20-minute nap versus 90-minute nap. When are those good for you, right?
Yes.
Be careful not to take those 90-minute naps before you're getting ready to go to sleep at night, because it's going to disrupt your rhythm.
Mhm.
And so let the rhythm move you. Let the rhythm of sleep. Let the rhythm move you. Oh, sorry. So allow the rhythm to know your rhythm. If not, you're going to be off, and you're going to be trying to figure how. But if you use the system will guide you. The system works, and we always run out of time, but never out of information. The great thing about this though is this, that we have that information right in our hands. So if you haven't dived into element 19 like I did, I went into this thing, I probably have like pages of notes that I really want to share, but I wanted to hear from you guys, and thank you so much for sharing. I see Brian hand up in the air, and I'm going to give Brian a chance to speak, and I'm going to go back to Rachel.
Hey, I just wanted to say real quick, guys, don't miss the low-hanging fruit, right? The obvious things. Stop drinking coffee within, 4 or 5 hours of trying to go to sleep. Exercise. We're all on a health journey here, but exercise too late in the afternoon is going to affect your sleep. So there's things that are very easy for us to alter and not do. So yeah, those super simple things, those are great places to start with trying to get more sleep.
And as Rachel is closing, thank you so much, Brian. I wanted to say, last week, Julie mentioned about our convention, and as a result, one of our clients that was on the book club registered her and her husband. Guys, it's so beautiful to come into the community. And if you are available to join us at our convention in July, the 21st through the 24th, 21 through 23, 24 in July in Atlanta, come on, because when we come together, we're better together, and we can help each other. And that's what's so beautiful about our community. Back at you, Rachel.
So awesome, guys. Thank you for leading us this morning. That was a great discussion around sleep. Let's put action on it. So when you go to change anything, you need the mindset to do it. You need to develop a readiness towards it, like internally, yeah, I'm ready to create a half an hour more sleep. It resonates with me. I think it's in service to my why, right? So does that check out? Don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can, right? That's that scarcity versus abundance that we learn about in our life book. Ask for accountability with it because it's new, and your old programming will say, I got this. I got this. You don't got it. I didn't got it. That's why we're here. We don't got it. So ask for accountability, bring it into community. That's humility and a managed ego. Awesome, right? And set an alarm to do it. You need a cue. You will not remember to do it because it's not autonomous. It's not subconsciously competent. So if we want to change our health, we don't sit around talking about food. We sit around talking about the things that drive us to the pantry at 12 o'clock at night. Okay. And it's lack of sleep, lack of fulfillment. We earned the right to sit on the couch and eat Cheetos because we had a real bum day, right? That's the program. The program is, why do you do what you do, right? And we're into it, you guys. We're into it. We're committed to you to get that resolved this time. This is not a diet. We did not invite you here to buy a box of food and diet. And I just felt compelled to share that with you today. It's so much bigger if you allow it to be. So thank you. Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas. And thank you guys for hanging out. And the Naltys, thank you so much for hosting us today. Great job. Thanks for everyone that shared, and we'll talk to you guys next week.